Hey guys, this is Katrina and this is part 5 of my simple clock app tutorial series. So in this video, I'm going to add a timer to my simple clock app. If you haven't watched part 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm just gonna put the links in the description below so you can go and check them out. I highly recommend you do so that you can follow along well. Anyway, I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a professional programmer. I am just someone who's trying to teach herself how to code. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a tabbed panel item. And I'm going to put this tabbed panel item between the alarm and the world clock. So I'm just going to call this tab timer. Now I'm going to put the box layout in this tab. And I'm going to set the orientation to vertical. The padding to 20. Spacing to 20. Okay. Now I'm going to put a label in the box layout. I'm going to give this an ID of show. So show is going to be the ID of this label. I'm going to add some text to it, and the text will be enter the time to count down as follows. Oh, let's just say in this time format. In this time format. So HH for hour, minute, and second. And we're just going to say new line. For example, we're going to set the text here to bold. So we're just going to say Gothic bold. So font gets Gothic bold. And we're just going to put the time format that we want. Okay, so that's it. Now we're going to set the font size to 17. Excuse me. So now let's put a text input. So we're going to add a text input, and we're going to give this ID of text input. I don't know what else to put, so I'm just going to put it like that. And we're going to set the text inside like this. So there you go. And we're going to set the font size. Okay, so I'm just going to go up here and add a class rule for the text input, because I want to set the font size, but then it's going to be similar to the one in the alarm, so might as well create a class rule. So we're going to create a class rule of text input, and we're going to say multi-line gets false, and font size, we're going to set it to 50, and we're going to set the alignment to center. Okay, now let me check the alarm. Just going to remove this because it's already there in the class rule, so I don't have to write it again. Okay, so now we'll go and create another box layout. I want this box layout to be like the button box layout where the buttons are inside. So I'm just gonna write button box layout. It's up here. here, button box layout. So I want all the properties here to go inside. So yeah, I want I want it to have the same properties. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put rounded button as well. I'm gonna put that use the class rule as well. And I'm gonna set the text to start. And rounded button 1, I'm gonna set the text to pause. Okay, so now we're just gonna go here into our Python file, and we're gonna change the length, the width of it to 500 so it can take an extra tab. Okay, so I'm just gonna run it and you're gonna see. So there you go, the timer is there, and there you go. The time is in the middle. Then the buttons are not working because they don't have a function yet. But yeah, this is the overall look of it. So yeah, okay, so it looks fine. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a function into this file here for the timer. Before we do that, let's create a variable called running. And we're gonna set that to false. Okay. Now we're gonna create a function, and we're gonna call that function start. So def start self. Okay. So now we're gonna get the input and put it, the text input, whatever text is in this text input box, and put it inside a variable. So we're gonna say self dot, we're gonna say cd time, which is like countdown time, and we're gonna say cd time gets self dot ids dot root dot text input dot text. Okay. Now we are going to create some if-else statement. So the first statement, the if-else statement, they're just going to check the inputs in the text input box. I want them to be just numbers, and I don't want letters inside, and I don't want it to be an empty string, and yeah. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to import RE. Gonna have to import RE. So this is a regular expression. I'm just going to go online here. So we're just gonna go online and check re. I want to explain it, but I think online will give a good explanation. So yeah, there it is. So regular expressions are essentially a tiny, highly specialized programming language embedded inside Python and made available through the RE module. Using this little language, you specify the rules for the set of possible strings that you want to match. This set might contain English sentences or email addresses or anything you like. You can then ask questions such as, does this string match the pattern, or is there a match for the pattern anywhere in this string? You can also use RE's, regular expressions, to modify a string to split it apart in various ways. So yeah, that's the explanation. So I'll be using this one to find letters inside of the text input. I don't want people to enter like letters inside. I want them all to be numbers. So yeah, that is why I'm putting that in. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna put is we're gonna import time delta. Sorry about that. So for time delta, we're just gonna go online and we're just gonna see. So Python time delta function is present on the datetime library, which is generally used for calculating differences in dates and also can be used for date manipulations in Python. It is one of the easiest ways to perform the date manipulations. So I'm going to use this time delta to get the current time and then minus the hours and seconds and minutes from it. So yeah. Okay. So now let's go down to our code. Let's go into this function. So now we're gonna create another variable and we're gonna call it check. And we're gonna say read.find all. We're gonna put this in. We're gonna say A, Z, A, Z. So this will find all the letters inside, and we're gonna say CD time. So if there are letters inside, it will return true. So yeah, inside the text input box. So we're gonna put an if statement here, and we're gonna say, sorry, excuse me. We're gonna say if CD time is equal to an empty string or length of CD time is not equal to 8 or check. So if this is true, if there are letters in there, then we say self.root.ids.text .show.text is equal to please enter the time like this. Okay, and then if CD time is equal to 0, 0, 0, then you say clock dot unschedule self dot cd begin cd. Another if statement again. Elif self dot root dot ids dot button dot text is equal to reset, then self dot reset. So this is a function. I'll explain that later. Also, this part here I'll explain it later. But what it does is it stops a function from running. So yeah, clock.unschedule will stop this function begin cd from running. So yeah, there you go. And then you create an else. Then you say else, and then you say self.root.ids.button.text is equal to reset. So when the start button is clicked, the text on the button will change to reset. For this one, it will check if the text on the button is reset, then it will stop the clock. If it's equal to reset, then it will stop the clock. but this will change the text on it to reset. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just get each two zeros in there. So we're just gonna say H. H is short for hour. It's just a variable. So yeah. So we just say city time 0 to 2 M, city time 3 to 5 S, city time 6 to 8. So H will get the first two zeros, M will get the second two zeros, and S will get the third two zeros. So we'll just convert the zeros into an integer. So we're just going to say like that, M and M, S, and S. So now we're going to create a variable called delta. So we're going to say self.delta gets. We're going to say self here because we want to access this variable here in another function. So now we're going to say daytime dot now class time delta hours gets H, minutes gets M, and seconds gets S. So yeah, time delta will add these numbers here to daytime.now to the hours and the minutes and the seconds of the current time. So yeah. So now we're gonna say if not self dot running self dot running gets true and clock dot schedule interval gets begin city. So I'm just gonna say self dot begin city 0.05. So this will run the function self.begin city. Okay. So now we'll create another function called reset. So we say def reset self. Now in this function we're going to say self.root.ids.button.text gets start. So this will change the text reset to start when the button is pressed. So now the next thing is self.root.ids.show.text will get exactly the same text here. I think I'm just gonna put the new line here. Okay, and then we're just gonna say self.root.ids.text input.text gets the zeros because it's resetting, so it has to show the zeros again. And now we're just gonna say if self.running is equal to false and clock dot unschedule begin cd. Okay, we'll create another function now and we're gonna call it pause. So this is gonna pause the time. This one is gonna reset the time to its Yeah, it's gonna reset the time to 0 to its normal state. You know, when it started, yeah. And this one is gonna just pause it. So we're gonna say def pause self, and we're just gonna copy this and paste it here. Okay, now we're gonna go into our Kivy file and we're gonna give the ID, set the ID of this one to button, and we're gonna say on press. Later we're gonna assign a function to this one, but for now let's just leave it like that. And for this one we're just gonna assign the pause function. So we're gonna say app dot pause. Yeah. Now we'll add another function called begin cd. We're gonna say self, and we're gonna say cd start. This argument here is gonna be accessed here. You see, it will run by this time here, so that's the time that it will add on when it runs. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna say self dot delta get. Actually, we're gonna create a variable called delta. We're gonna say self dot delta minus daytime dot now. So it will keep on minusing the time until it goes to 0, as long as this function is running. Okay. When this schedule interval is still on, then it will keep on minusing. So now we're gonna change delta into a string. So we're gonna say delta get str delta, and then we're gonna say self.root.ids.show.text will get change the size to 50. So I'm just gonna add a 0 in front of the original time. It's usually just 5 zeros, so I just want to add a 0 in front and make it like 6, so it looks pretty. So yeah, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I'll just add another 0 in front. Okay, now we're gonna say if self dot delta, sorry, we're just gonna say if delta 0, 7 is equal to then we're going to add a 0 on top, so we're gonna say 0 plus delta 0, 7, and we're gonna play a sound, so we're gonna do it exactly like the one up here. See in the alarm right up here. So we're just gonna say self.sound get sound loader dot, so we're just gonna copy this in here because it's the same thing. So just gonna copy this and paste it here, and we're gonna say it's not gonna be the alarm clock WV, so I'm just gonna check. I want the rooster one. See? So we're just gonna open file location, and I'm just gonna copy the title. It's very long. So I'm gonna go to properties, and I'm just gonna go to properties, just copy this one in. Just gonna copy it, paste it here, and that's it. And now I'm just gonna say self.reset. So yeah, it's gonna reset it. Okay, now I'm just gonna add another function and say def toggle toggle def toggle. We're gonna say if self.running self.reset else self.start. So now, so now we're just gonna put it here and say app.toggle, and that's it. So now let's try and run our timer. Oh, it's supposed to be like this. Sorry, my computer's a bit slow. I'll just go here and let's just try run it. Oh, it's supposed to be self.root.ids. Where is it? Where is it? 104. It's a little bit up there. Okay, now let's run it and see. It's okay to make mistakes, you know, you learn from them, so it's okay. So there you go. Oh yeah, I have to put self in front of that, so you say self that begins city. Okay, now let's run it again. Okay, I'm just playing around with it for a bit. Start, pause, reset. If you want to use the rooster crowing, then we'll just do it like this. Yep, and that's it. So this is my simple clock app. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.